Aloha and welcome back. So today I wanted to do a pop-up card. I'm going to be using the Spellbinders, this Wild and Free. It's the stamp and die set. So it comes with those dies down there on my craft mat, and then it also comes with those sentiments there. I'm not going to be using the sentiment on my card today though. So I'm going to use the Lawn Fawn Scallop Box pop-up die set. And then using these die cuts to add some little embellishments in the box. So here I already pre-cut what I needed to set up my box, my pop-up box. And then I'm going to be just adding some distress ink, the vintage photo, around the edges of this box to just give it a little bit more depth and interest here. And I did use this heavyweight cardstock. It's almost like you know, the stuff that you put in your files, like the folders, I guess, the file folders. It's like that kind of feeling. It's really, really thick cardstock. Yeah. And then I cut out all these little panels that comes in the set, and I'm gonna be blending antique linen, oxide ink with wilted violet and black soot. Kind of wanted to make it like a I guess like a country western themed or like a desert theme. So I wanted to make it like a sunset on all the panels. So that's why I decided to use these three colors. It kind of reminds me of like a Sahara sunset or something like that. So here I'm going to be taking all of my pieces now for my box, pop-up box card. And I'm going to be just using my bone folder and really making sure that I get the creases nice and creased, basically. So they have all the creases on here, and you just kind of follow the fold and then use your bone folder and really get it really nice and crisp so it stays in its form when you pop open the card. And then the little tabs you just fold on the little embossed lines as well. And taking some score tape here, and you want to use a really strong adhesive. You could use liquid adhesive if you like, if you prefer, but I like to use the strong score tape, and it's really easy to work with. So I'm just going to peel off the backing on here, and I'm just going to line up the one side with no tab with the side that has the tab and the adhesive. I'm just going to flip it over and line them up. They line up pretty easily. I did make a mistake when I was closing my box, pop-up box. I made a mistake and I didn't line them up correctly. So it's a little off, but barely even noticeable. And I did leave the back side of this box, that top panel. I didn't fold it over. I left it the way it is just because that's where I'm going to put the sentiment. So I wanted to make sure that it's sturdy. So I did see this trick on another YouTuber's channel, and I never tried it this way. I normally put my box together and then I just slip those little tabs inside, but you basically glue them on. Gosh, I guess that part got erased. So you just basically glue them on before you close up the box, the little inside tabs. So here I'm taking all my panels. You saw that I had already inked them up. You can tell by my fingers, super inky. And I embossed Happy Birthday in silver embossing powder on the back panel. So I'm going to be placing that panel with my liquid adhesive just so that I have some wiggle room I tend to not always put things on straight, so I wanted to just have a little bit of wiggle room to move it around if I need to. So I'm just placing that little panel on the back part of my box. I think it looks great. I did also spray a like a lilac shimmer mist on all these oxide panels. And so here I'm just gonna put that little square piece on the side as well with some liquid adhesive. And I'm gonna do that for the rest. I'm just gonna apply all of my panels on with my liquid adhesive just the same way. And then when I close the box up, you can see I put the panels there as well. Then you can cut out four more and then just add them to the tops of that. But I didn't do it. I just thought it was fine the way it was. So now I'm gonna, it's really hard to like show how the card looks with the box standing facing up. So I was trying to see if I could get a better way of filming this. But I cut out all the die cuts from that spellbinders die, and the embossing on it is just unbelievable. I mean, the detail is unbelievable. So I just cut out some pieces, and I cut out also some flower pieces that I'm going to be adding on to those die cut images there as well. And then I'm going to start assembling my cards. So I cut out with some light green glitter paper, a grassy border die, and then cut it to size, and I'm going to place it right there at the front. And so when I put this together, since it was the first time I did that little trick of attaching the inside tabs to one side of the box and then flapping over and closing it, I actually put the first tab way too close. So it's way too close to the front of the box. There's like a very little sliver there. So I just decided to put the grass, you know, to fill that part in. So there's a big space in between the first like little tab and the second, and the third tab is a pretty good space apart. Actually, looking at it from up this way, you can see it's a pretty big space. So taking my first cactus, I'm just going to be using some liquid adhesive. I cut the bottom part off just so I didn't have to foot around with the long piece there for the cactus. And I'm just measuring it to make sure that it's hidden pretty well when you close the card, and then pressing down and just making sure that the adhesive is sticking. So there I added the other cactus in the back. And then adding this cow skull, I put some double-sided adhesive on it, and then I'm just playing around with it, seeing at where on the card I wanted it to go. And so I'm just moving it around because when you close it, you have to remember that everything has to fit inside properly when you close the card. You don't want anything smashing or getting bent up inside the card when you close it. So here I have this little cactus inside of the pot, and I was trying to figure out where I actually wanted to put it. So I am going to put it right there on that front tab. I'm just going to cut off a little bit of the planter box there, and then attach it with some double-sided adhesive. Make sure it's a good strong hold. Okay. I'm using score tape actually, so it's a really strong adhesive. And then I did stamp next to this little cactus, I stamped From All of Us, next to it. And then I added a couple of more little embellishment pieces on the two flaps, I mean not flap, on the two tabs on the side. I added, let's see, I added a planter box with some flowers on the left side, and I added this little flower in somewhere as well that I'm, fiddling around with. And then on the right hand side, I just added another cactus in a planter box. So here's a couple of still shots of the card that I made. The pop-up box card. Really cute. The detail is unbelievable in these spellbinders dies. And I did want to mention behind that cactus, that tall cactus there, I did back it with another, I cut out another piece of the same die cut, backed it so it was a little stronger when standing up on its own. And then here's the front of the card. I just put a little cactus in the front. All right, mahalo for watching. I'll catch you next time. Aloha.